It's Siege Prime, baby! Ah, the War for Cybertron trilogy. I love this line. Honestly, never got that into collecting Transformer toys until the War for Cybertron line, man. I got a lot to say about this toy line. I love it a lot. So why not start with old Prime Boy here? Siege Optimus here is a prime example of the whole War for Cybertron aesthetic. The character designs don't go for any harsh stylization like in previous lines, it just goes for straight up G1 accurate robot modes, with a hint of some modern design sensibilities. Siege specifically goes for a Cybertronian aesthetic, and that kinda gives Optimus here a more unique design than others. And I like that that's illustrated in very subtle ways. You see, his truck pecs aren't just regular squares or rectangles, they have these little indents on the top. The tires on his legs having these covers, the front tires going into his abdomen section. I feel all these subtle details give him a really unique look. The painting on the figure is also nice. It is quite durable. I am not in all worried about the fact that I am just throwing it all over the place. The paint stays on immaculately. The Siege line specifically also has this silver paint wash on his body. It's supposed to signify battle damage, you see. Like the paint on their body is being chipped off by battle damage, and I actually quite like it if the camera will fucking focus on it. A lot of people don't like this paint detailing, but I quite like it because it's not too overwhelming, and I feel that it adds to the overall character design. Oh fuck. Articulation's nice. One thing I really like about the whole War for Cybertron trilogy is that the articulation is standardized across the entire line. Gives all the toys a nice consistency. We got a ball joint at the head. This flap at the neck kind of is annoying sometimes, but it's manageable. Rotation at the arm. Outward movement, the smokestack flap moves out to accommodate that. Rotation at the bicep. More than 90-degree bend at the elbow, that is amazing. Wrist swivel, thank you, Lord. Waist swivel, thank you, Lord. Outward movement, and not that far forward. Unfortunately, this is a very early figure in the War for Cybertron line, and all the articulation isn't exactly up to par with today's standards. Most figures today will have a skirt cut right here, but unfortunately, damn it. It can't even kick all the way up. This makes me sad. What's also kind of strange here is that he has a thigh rotation. It's right up here, but that doesn't really make sense because he also has a knee swivel right above the knee joint, and holy crap, that knee's good. I just don't get the point of the thigh swivel when the knee swivel does all the work. And one joint that is absolutely standardized across the whole line. Oh yeah. Ankle pivot on every single figure. Hell yeah, I'm all for this. God, I love this figure. What is not to love? Okay, so this guy definitely has some back kibble and some arm kibble, but to be fair, it's not as bad as the Classics Optimus. Honestly, I'm not all that upset with robot kibble on Transformers as long as it stays out of the way of articulation and is not obtrusive in any way, shape, or form. And luckily for this guy, that is exactly the case. None of the kibble ever gets in the way of articulation, but if you're still upset by this back kibble flap thing, you could see it as a neat little jetpack. I'm really trying here. You could also maybe flip around these things, and now they're like arm cannons. Again, I'm really trying here. Again, I don't really mind the kibble. As long as it stays out of the way, I don't really care. Classic Optimus Prime ion cannon. It also has this little port on the top here, which can accommodate any 5mm pegs. This is another consistent feature among the War for Cybertron trilogy figures, is that all of them have these little 5mm ports all over their bodies so that you can just plug in weapons to them and perhaps armor them up. That is a really cool and straightforward play feature. You can really pull off a lot of cool poses with his gun and his shield here. But wait a minute, I think there's more to the shield than meets the eye. Fuck, I'm cringe. Whoop, boop, whoop, and flip. Low-key kinda tired of Optimus Prime being portrayed with a sword instead of his classic G1 axe. Kinda would have preferred the axe blades to be cast in orange plastic or to be painted orange, but I'm just so glad that Optimus Prime finally comes with an axe. I just feel that that's the type of weapon he would use, you know? Why don't we get this guy into truck mode now, huh? Why the fuck did I do that? Truck mode! This is Optimus Prime if his flat-nosed truck form was Cybertronian enhanced. This hole is it's gonna be a problem, I just know it. I definitely like the look of it, especially the front part here. This still looks like Optimus Prime, just with a Cybertronian truck mode. And I quite dig it. This hole is actually quite distracting. I knew it was going to be a problem. As far as criticisms go, I don't particularly like that you can finger the back side of his cab. And that's about it, really. There's a little hitch here that is also a 5mm port. All of the 5mm ports that were on the robot mode are still visible in vehicle mode, which is super neat. Where the fuck is this gun? Which means you can still plug in the gun and have him do some drive-by shooting. His gun and his axe can also port into the top, and that does not look too great, but I mean, who cares? I don't really consider weapon storage to be a necessity for Transformers, so I don't really care. He rolls quite good. Yeah, this base is not... Trust me, if we were on a smoother surface, his wheels would be touching the ground. I need a better setup. But yeah, I really like the look of this guy, and this was my actual first Transformers figure that I ever picked up from the War for Cybertron trilogy, and man, what a character to start out with. I'm happy and excited of where the War for Cybertron trilogy is going next with the introduction of Beast Wars. And yeah, I've got a few other War for Cybertron figures to take a look at. So stay tuned for that, I suppose. Subscribe.